Greetings, my quantum fellow friends. How are you doing tonight? Tonight's topic is how fast do we look for employment in recovery? And the second part is a recovery house necessary for everyone? My first um, question: do you need a job in recovery? I feel as though everybody needs a job in recovery because a job gives you a way to take care of yourself. I find a lot of times that when in these recovery programs or houses, people are very eager to start working. Like their first day, I hear people talk about, I gotta wait 60 days to start working or whatever, and they're still going through withdrawal symptoms. First, you got to get through the withdrawal symptoms. You got to get healthy first because I don't know what type of job you're doing, whether it's standing on your feet or you're cleaning or whatever you're doing. You got to get healthy first. The job and everything is coming. It's the reason, I guess, those programs won't want you to wait 60. Some people want you to wait 90 days. I believe that's a little bit too much, but it's a reason for that because no one wants to hire someone who is still going through withdrawal symptoms. And you might not even know it or not, but you may be sweating, you may be tired, you may be still having bubble guts or whatever you got. It's a process. So get yourself ready to work before you start looking for a job. And getting yourself ready for work does not necessarily mean physically, because believe it or not, I believe that the physical part of getting ready to work is the easy part, you know, because once your body is back on track again, which can take anywhere from 60 to 90 days by itself. Okay. So don't rush it. I understand you want to get some money going, you want to be able to take care of yourself, whatever, but don't rush it because if you're serious, if you're committed, not just interested in recovery, it's a process. And that's the part of the process, getting your body and your mind ready to recover. So take your time, get some exercise, be able to stay up on your feet, get your mind back right again, and gradually slide into the swing of things. Because the jobs are not going away. You'll find a job. Trust me, you'll find a job. You'll be able to take care of yourself, you know. But for the time being, just be patient and you'll get yourself a job. So, um, if I could put a time period on it, I would say give yourself at least 60 days. That's 2 months. If you're coming into a program or whatever, and you just stop using, like the day you got in the program, at least give yourself 2 months, 60 days before you start looking for a job. Okay, because that freedom may not be what you need at the moment. You know, that structure around that program or whatever is maybe what you need, which leads me into the second part of my question. Is a recovery house for everyone? If I had to answer that question, I would say no, because I know lots of people who don't need a recovery house. Me myself, I wasn't one of those persons. I needed the structure of a recovery house. Mind you, I was living out of my car with no license. Okay. I didn't know how long I thought that was going to last, but it didn't last long. And the next thing you know, the cops pulled me over. I was arrested. My truck got towed. I walked through the central booking, but when I got out, I had no place to live. So I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I checked myself into a program. I got myself together, and it was what I needed. That structure of knowing someone was looking over my back, and I wanted to get myself together or I wouldn't be here was structure for me. And sometimes we need that structure. Sometimes we need a little bit of weight on our shoulders. So we have someone to help to hold us accountable. So if you find it hard for you to do it on your own, you may need to check yourself into a program, you know, and get yourself together because of that structure. Don't wait till you lose it all because trust me, you're going to lose it all. Okay. It's a hard juggle. I couldn't do it. And I know tons of people who couldn't do it, you know. But some people need that. I don't want to say fear, but I'm going to say it. Some people need that fear of somebody watching over their back. You got to leave random urinalysis or whatever. Because at first when you get into the program, you may be interested in recovery, but you're not really committed. So some it may take some urging. And by the time you leave that, maybe who knows, 10th or 15th year analysis, maybe your mind is saying, okay, you know what? Yes, enough is enough. I'm ready to be fully committed to this thing. Because if you're not ready to be fully committed, like for instance, some people go to programs because their the courthouse or the judge wants them to go. And as soon as they go to court and the judge say, okay, you know, you can leave, they leave and they're back out doing the same thing, and the cycle repeats itself again. So if you're interested, that'll go. That's like a motivational speaker. 2 days after he's gone or you got the message, that motivation is left and you're right back doing the same thing. But if you truly are committed, you're willing to do whatever it takes. And sometimes it takes you to look at yourself and say, I can't do it by myself. I got to check myself into a program and I need that structure. Now, they got some programs who you got to go to a meeting every day for 7 days a week, 5 hours or something like that. If you ask me, that's a little too much. A nice program, maybe 3-4 days a week. So you maybe 2-3 hours where you could take some days off and focus on yourself, trying to get yourself back together, because there is life outside of recovery. Me, myself, while I'm in recovery, I don't want to focus all my time in recovery because I believe that's not thinking on something new. And I believe something new is what you need in recovery because you're so used to doing the same old thing that they say the human has between 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And they say 95% of those thoughts are the same thing that you thought about the day before. And you wonder why things don't get any better. Well, because you're not trying new things. You have no new nothing in your life. You're doing the same old, same old, same old. And then you go to these programs and they're cramming, stop getting high, drugs, heroin, cocaine, addicts. I'm an addict. I'm an addict. I'm an addict. I'm an addict. That's too much. And that's not the quantum way. Just so you know, that's not the quantum way. The quantum way doesn't believe in ramming a whole bunch of stuff that's going to trigger memories in your brain because it's a constant fight. But I will tell you this, whatever program you're in, whatever method you got going on or whatever, it's going to come a time where you're going to have to say no, regardless of all the training you've been through, regardless of all the stuff that you're doing. It's going to come a time where you're going to have to bite the bullet and say, no, enough is enough. Because it doesn't matter how many books you read, how many lectures you go to, how many coaches you have, or whatever. If it doesn't seep down into your subconscious and change the way that you're programmed, you're bound to repeat it. And the only way to get up out of your subconscious and reroute and reprogram those programs is to be in the now. It's called mindfulness. Mindfulness means that you're present, you're conscious. You're not thinking about tomorrow. You're not thinking about uh, yesterday. You're right now. I believe some people call it taking one step at a time or one day at a time. If you're an addict, you got to take 1 second at a time. I don't count my days that I'm clean or whatever. I don't count them because if I relapse, it's all out the window anyway. And somebody can say, "Well, I got 2 years clean. I'm good. I can take a chance." And this is how the subconscious thinks. You've been clean for 2 years. A little heroin, a little drink, a little cocaine. That won't bother you. Go ahead. You're fine. I don't know. I don't know how long I've been clean. All I know is I'm staying clean. So I'm not trying to make a record out of it. I'm not trying to impress anybody with no keychain or anything like that. I'm just focusing on myself and focusing on new things. I don't want to even look at any programs or anything like that. I just want to focus my mind on something that I want to achieve and work towards that day in and day out. And I suggest you do the same thing because if not, you're constantly fighting a battle. And many of us, I believe, like 85% of us, end up relapsing and repeating the same cycle over and over again. And a lot of people don't make it because these new drugs, fentanyl and all that stuff they have out here now, you stay clean for maybe a month or two, and you go back and pick up right where you left off, and next thing you know, somebody's picking you up off the ground. So, if I had to wrap it up with something, I would say definitely get you some type of job. Definitely get you some type of employment where you have some money coming in. But take your time and make sure you're ready. If you're in a program and it's say 60 to 90 days, try your best to stick with it. Try your best to stick with it. Okay? Because you may not know it. You may be antsy or you may be anxious to work, but that anxiety is not good. Okay? But that anxiety can lead you down a road where you don't want to go back. Okay? So, and if you need a recovery program, make sure you get yourself into one. You hear my dog, he's playing with a toy. I'm at my lady's house, but so if you need a program, look into one, see how many days they doing meetings and so forth. It's not overbearing. And make sure it's in a good environment. Because I was in a program one time that was right off the strip. On the way to the house, I had to fight the drug dealers. I had to fight them off. That's not a good environment. If you know anything about epigenetics, it tells you the environment forms the gene. Okay? So you've heard people say new people, places, and things. Yeah, you need new people, places, and things. You literally need new people, places, and things. A rehab right off a drug strip is not a good place. It's not a good place. There's no way to beat around the bush. It's not a good place. If you're serious about a recovery and this is your life, if you're going to a program and drug dealers are right outside the house, it's not a good place. Okay, find another program. There's tons of them. Find another one. Take your life seriously, take your recovery seriously, and find somewhere where you can think and unravel the knot that's in your brain. Remember that knot? That knot has formed habits. Now you got to unravel that knot and open your hand up so you can receive new information, plant new seeds. That's what the quantum side of addiction is all about, planting new seeds, growing new patterns and new habits, making new connections. That's what the quantum side of addiction is all about. And until you do that, you're bound to repeat. Because I'm not sure if you know the law of energy. Energy never dies. It either goes forward or goes backwards. So if you're not learning new things, finding out new pathways, taking new roads, taking chances, you're going back to the same thing that you did before. All right? So that's about it. I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow on the quantum side of things. And this is the Vortex. Good night.